Imagine a plane soaring thousands of feet above the Earth, carrying not passengers but a lethal payload. Every second counts. One wrong move and lives could be lost in an instant. Today, we're diving into the story of how the US government intercepted and grounded a plane before it could carry out another deadly mission. If you've ever wondered how intelligence, technology, and sheer determination intersect to prevent disaster, this story is for you. But before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a story that matters. It began quietly, almost invisibly. In the early hours, US intelligence agencies picked up unusual activity. A cargo plane had been spotted on radar, taking off from a seemingly routine location, but its flight path raised red flags. It wasn't just where it was going, it was how it was flying. The altitude, the evasive maneuvers, the lack of a regular flight plan, all signals that this was no ordinary transport. Inside the plane, a carefully orchestrated operation was unfolding. Those on board were skilled, trained, and prepared for missions that could alter the course of history. The payload wasn't disclosed to the public, but sources later revealed it could have caused catastrophic damage. The clock was ticking, and every moment that plane stayed in the air increased the risk. Back on the ground, analysts worked in shifts, scrutinizing every piece of data. Satellite feeds, radar blips, intercepted communications. They all told a story, but only if interpreted correctly. And interpreting that story required not just expertise, but intuition. Intelligence is rarely straightforward. Sometimes the smallest detail, a slight deviation in flight speed, a minor delay on the runway can hint at a much larger plan. Meanwhile, fighter jets were scrambled, not in panic, but with calculated precision. Pilots knew the stakes. They trained for scenarios like this, but nothing can truly prepare someone for the tension of intercepting a potentially armed aircraft in real time. They maintained visual contact, ready to respond the instant a signal was given. It was a delicate balance. Intervene too early and you risk escalation. Wait too long and the consequences could be disastrous. The plane's operators, meanwhile, were unaware that they were being watched. Every action they took, every adjustment to their course, was being monitored. Counterintelligence measures tried to disguise the true surveillance capabilities, keeping the perpetrators confident in their operations. It's a psychological game as much as it is a technical one. And in this high-stakes scenario, the US agencies were playing their cards carefully, methodically, and strategically. One of the key breakthroughs came from an unexpected source. A routine maintenance alert triggered a chain reaction. What seemed like a minor technical glitch on the surface turned out to be the opening the intelligence teams needed. It offered an opportunity to communicate with authorities in a non-confrontational manner, effectively putting pressure on the operators without immediate risk. Sometimes it's these small windows, brief, fleeting moments, that determine the outcome of a crisis. Communication lines were established. Emergency protocols were activated. And yet, it was all carried out with restraint. This wasn't about showmanship. It was about neutralizing a threat efficiently, without escalation. The precision of the operation reflected years of planning, collaboration across multiple agencies, and a deep understanding of both human behavior and technological capabilities. As the plane continued on its path, the coordination between ground control, intelligence analysts, and military operatives reached its peak. Every second, every decision was critical. The stakes were incredibly high, too high for mistakes. And then came the moment that would define the operation. A calculated interception designed to ground the aircraft safely without endangering innocent lives. At this point, the operation was no longer just about preventing a potential catastrophe. It had become a testament to the power of vigilance, preparation, and decisive action. It showed how advanced technology, when combined with human insight, can prevent disasters before they happen. The moment had arrived. Every calculation, every observation, every small piece of intelligence led to this split-second decision. Fighter jets were in position, their pilots watching, waiting, and ready to act. But the goal wasn't to confront violently. The operation's primary objective was to stop the threat safely, without collateral damage. Ground controllers guided the pilots with precision. The plane was approached carefully, maintaining a safe distance, while signals were sent through encrypted channels. For the first time, the operators on board began to realize they weren't alone. Communications were jammed, and certain flight paths were subtly restricted by advanced airspace control. It was a tactical chess match in real time, with lives hanging in the balance. Inside the cockpit, tension was palpable. The crew tried to maintain composure, unaware that the authorities already had multiple contingency plans ready. They weren't just dealing with fighter jets. They were dealing with decades of combined intelligence expertise, surveillance technology, and experience that no single operator could easily counter. Every maneuver they attempted was anticipated, every option carefully countered. Meanwhile, back at headquarters, analysts monitored the situation in near silence. The room was tense but methodical. Each movement of the aircraft was tracked, analyzed, and predicted. If the operators had any chance to divert or take drastic action, they would have to do it quickly. But the team on the ground had already prepared for every plausible scenario, from engine failure to evasive maneuvers. Nothing was left to chance. Then came the breakthrough moment. Using a combination of automated alerts and human judgment, the authorities initiated a controlled protocol to gradually ground the plane. Signals intercepted from the cockpit revealed subtle compliance with commands, indicating the operators were unsure of the risks, but recognizing they were being watched. It was a psychological tipping point. The intelligence teams knew that if they maintained control without force, the plane could be neutralized safely. The pilots executed a flawless intercept. They guided the aircraft toward a secure landing zone, ensuring that neither the plane nor the surrounding area would be at risk. It was a delicate operation. Too fast, and it could trigger panic. Too slow, and the threat could escalate. Timing, coordination, and trust in the data were everything. Finally, after tense minutes that felt like hours, the plane touched down safely. Emergency crews were on standby, but they weren't needed. The threat had been neutralized without a single life lost. The operators were apprehended, the payload secured, and the immediate danger ended. But the story didn't stop there. Investigations revealed that this operation wasn't just about one plane. It was a blueprint for how to prevent disasters before they happen. The operation showcased something that often goes unnoticed: the unseen heroes behind the scenes. Analysts, pilots, air traffic controllers, engineers, and intelligence officers, all working in synchrony, often without recognition, to ensure public safety. It's a reminder that the difference between catastrophe and calm often lies in preparation, vigilance, and the quiet confidence of people who know how to act when seconds matter. What made this operation remarkable wasn't just the technology or strategy. It was human judgment under pressure. Automated systems alone could never have achieved this result. It required people interpreting signals, anticipating human behavior, and making split-second decisions that balanced risk with caution. The plane never stood a chance, but it also didn't have to become a tragedy. As news of the incident eventually reached the public, details were scarce, but the lessons were clear. Intelligence works best when it's proactive, not reactive. Threats can appear anywhere at any time, but with coordination, planning, and courage, disasters can be averted. It's not always visible and often goes unheralded, but these are the moments that truly define national security. This story is a powerful reminder of the silent guardians who work tirelessly to keep us safe. When lives are on the line, every second counts. And sometimes, it's the unseen expertise, the careful observation, and the courage to act that prevents the worst from happening. If you found this story gripping, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Stories like these remind us that vigilance, intelligence, and courage can save lives, and that sometimes the most heroic moments happen far away from the spotlight.